All right, we're live. It's Wednesday. It's the positive effect. I love these Wednesdays. We give everybody a little boost in the middle of their week. So, hi, Sarah. How's it going?
It's good.
Brilliant. Well, today, if you haven't tuned in before, I'm April Sobral. I'm the founder of Retail U and the author of a book called The Positive Effect. I'm going to talk about this a little bit today. Every week we go live and we bring conversations to life about leadership, retail, culture, because my whole career is in retail. And we feature retail leaders about their careers and really learn really great lessons. However, we're switching it up a bit this week and we're bringing back Sarah Hauch. Sarah I'm going to let you introduce yourself in a minute. Good morning, Diana. Nice to see you. In the chat, put where you're coming in from, because we'd love to know where everybody's joining from all over the globe. Hey, Dean, nice to see you. But yeah, we're bringing Sarah back. We had Sarah on at the beginning, and we bring you every now and again to just give us a positive boost. Sarah is an amazing person, first of all, and also the author of the wellness course on Retail U. And I met you a couple of years ago. We've been working together, and the wellness course and the wellness challenge that you did for us on Retail U really does help retail leaders with their self-care. So I'm bringing you back today because I think that you have so many words of wisdom and can share with us. And we're going to, instead of having a normal conversation about retail and leadership, we're going to talk about something a little bit different. Right. So before we get into it, Sarah, I want you to, share your story, who you are. We've got 30 minutes to pick your brain and chat to you today on this amazing subject called Manifesting 101 for Leaders. So yeah, tell us a bit about you and who you are.
Hello, everyone. It's so nice to be here. Thank you for having me. My name is Sarah Hauch. I own a healing and meditation center here in Winnipeg and actually all across the country. So when I was asked by April to make the wellness course, I was so pumped because almost 17 years ago, I created my first corporate wellness program, as a corporate wellness consultant, and it's still benchmarked to this day across the country as one of the best programs out there. And I think it's because I didn't just include physical wellness. I realized that human beings are these complex, beautiful beings, and it's not just about your physical body being healthy. Everything is interconnected. Your financial well-being, your mental well-being, your emotional well-being, and your spiritual well-being, it all comes together. And so that's what we're going to talk about today a little bit and we're going to focus on manifesting because 2020 was a year of pivot. It really made us lean into our strengths and be creative and think like, how can we change it? How can we go online? How can we help our communities? And it forced us to almost to pull in more ideas that we maybe have never done. Maybe we got kicked totally out of our comfort zone and thought, how am I going to do this? Especially those of us that have kids at home and have to work from home. Like how are we supposed to do this? So today's conversation with April, we're going to break down how to manifest, why you have blocks to manifesting. And we're going to talk about the thoughts also and how our thoughts are literally creating our reality.
I love it. And I'm so excited you're on because in my book, so, The Positive Effect, the book that I wrote, which is a retail leader's guide to changing the world, because I think retail being the third highest employment sector, there's a lot of people that if we all really focus, we could really shift the energy and change the world for the better. I think retail leaders do that every day by empowering and encouraging people that are on the teams. But yeah, today we're going to talk about manifesting and create, which is the second step in my book of my leadership mantra called ACT, Leading with Awareness, Accept, Create, Teach. Create is the second step. So I want to read a little snippet because manifesting has been something I've been studying since, 25 years ago. I had a hippie American mother who raised me and sent me a whole ton of stuff early on in my 20s from Esther and Jerry Hicks, Louise Hay, Wayne Dyer, all these amazing thought leaders. So I was studying this back then, and I really brought it into the way that I lead. And that's why create is the second step. So I want to read a little bit, and then we're gonna get into the conversation about really demystifying what manifesting is, because some people are like, what is it? And I love the way you talk about it and your methodologies on it, because it makes it very practical and real, right? As opposed to just sitting on on a lotus flower somewhere and just thinking positively and things are going to come, because that's just not how it works.
That's not going to do it.
Yeah. It's not going to help, right? So create. So in the beginning of create, which is chapter 3, I say, I define create as cause or something to happen as a result of one's actions. And then I say, when you are leading with awareness, create means to be responsible with your thoughts, your words, your actions, and your behaviors, right? So that's creating. We're all creating things every day, whether we like it or not, whether we think about, our thoughts and we're aware of what we're doing. We are creating things, good or bad, every day. And as leaders, we're creating things not just for ourselves, but for other people involved, right? Because we're in service to other people. So I talk quite a bit about this extensively on my thoughts on manifesting. But I want to pick your brain today, because this is what you do all day. You teach people to manifest. So if you want to start off, Sarah, just share why is manifesting important? What is it? Like, demystify it for us, and then we can get into like how.
Great. So I'm pulling a lot of information from, ancient lineages that have talked about this for thousands of years. And if there's one thing that human beings, you could say, like, why are we here? And we are manifesting beings. We are creational beings. We already are a container for all the positive emotions. We are love, we are joy, we're all these things. But humans are seeking for fulfillment and purpose. And that comes from daily acts of creation. You don't just wake up one day and then there it is. Everything that you have in your life right now is a result of what you've thought and done in the past, and everything you're thinking and doing right now is where you're going to be in the future. So when you can get a hold of your mind, you are going to create what you want in the future. And I think 2020 is doing such a good job as a teacher to really test those of us that believe these things, and testing our faith and giving us an opportunity to put it into practice. Can I use these tools now to move forward? So because we are here to create, we want to learn how to create. It's not just something that we willy-nilly do. There are 4 steps to creation. And these steps are, at the top, you have your ideas. Then you have your thoughts. Then you have your plan. And then you have action. And any business owner could sit here and look at me and be like, yes, Sarah, obviously. But this is what we want to also help other people do. This is how the brain works. But the first place, April, can I just go on a tangent?
Yeah, go on it. Yeah, I'm totally loving this conversation. I mean, I can listen to you all day because I learn so much from you. So I've got my pen and my Post-it.
Cool. So the first thing is, where is your idea coming from? Because as business leaders, we want to be accessing ideas from the higher mind. We don't want to be regurgitating ideas from other companies or pulling in ideas because of fears. So the first place that we need to get ourselves is, how do I pull from my highest truth? And that's why, of course, and I'll plug our meditation course here, like finding your inner stillness is so key to create from an inspired place and not from a fearful place. So the first important step is, where are you pulling your ideas from? The ideas, I'm going to use the 4 elements because I find it's an easy way to think about it.
Okay.
Ideas is fire. Fire is sparks. Fire comes, it goes. Fire moves very quickly, and atoms and fire are very far apart. This is a spark. It's that idea that comes out of nowhere. What we need to do is take this idea and we need to pull it into the world of thinking. So let's say April gets an idea. I want to create this new course for Retail You. It just pops in. Well, for that to actually manifest, you have to pull it and you have to bring it down into the world of thought. So April's now thinking about it, thinking, is this really something in alignment with my business? Does this make sense for our values? Is this going to bring value to my customers? How am I going to do this? What are the pieces to my course? What are the different chapters? And this is the realm of air. This realm of the mind. You're engaging the mind. And this is what people talk about, that positive thinking. Like when you're visual, this is that world. But if you don't follow up positive thinking with a plan and action, it's just not going to come true. So once you have this really solid thought, then you have to pull it down into the next world, which is planning. And planning is different. Planning is not list making. Planning is actually saying, okay, how do I take all these ideas and formulate them into systems and make it work? So this is a business plan is a perfect example. You know, how much is starting my business going to cost me? Where is that money going to be allocated? Who do I need on my team? Where am I going to find them? How much money can I pay them, etc.? This is water. This is the and what can trip people up at this stage is their emotional attachments. And then the last stage is earth. So once you have this awesome plan, some people just have a hard time executing it because of personal beliefs and emotional attachments. But action is actually grounding it into the physical world. It is writing that course. It's paying the marketing person. It's paying the PR person. It's buying the equipment for your company. It's hiring people. Earth is the actual action steps. So manifesting isn't difficult, but it can sometimes be hard because we all have blocks in one of those 4 areas that we need to work through to be effective manifestors.
That's such a great practical, I just love the way that it practically goes through those steps, and how you've kind of demystified what manifesting is. And it actually, manifesting is not just sitting there and having positive thoughts, because I mean, I speak to people a lot about having positive thoughts. It's really important, but it's just one piece of the puzzle, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're building a team, or you're leading a team of people, because a lot of our audience are leading teams of people and leading businesses, what should they be doing then on a daily, weekly routine, let's say, to actually put manifesting or like act on what you've just shared? Is like, what best practices or things do you help your clients with to actually make this real? Because a lot of people I talk to right now are kind of overwhelmed. There's a lot going on. Yes, there's been a lot of pivot, and there's just a lot going on, and they're kind of overwhelmed. And even me, like I haven't got it together all the time. No, people think I do, but like every Monday I'm like, okay, what am I doing this week? What's my plan? And I can get a little bit of overwhelmed. And then I come back to those 4 elements of like, where am I spending my times? Yeah. How can you help our leaders, our audience, kind of put this into a practical action of a routine?
Okay, great question. So I think when it comes to leaders, they're the kind of people that can do anything. So I think the first step to effective manifesting is to say no to some things. Because yes, you can be manifesting all these different things, but are they moving you closer to where you want to be? If you've got a solid gym routine and your brain's telling you that this is the year to start a marathon, like, is that what you need to do? So starting to say no to things to make sure that you're funneling your energy into the things that you really want to push forward. Also with 2020 and the enormous pressure that we're all under, especially people in your industry, that it's important to think about, am I manifesting in balance? So yes, I obviously have to push my business forward, but then looking at the other areas of your life that are important to you. Am I manifesting the life with my family that I want? Am I manifesting the relationship with myself that I want? Am I taking care of myself? So after you say no to erroneous things you don't want to manifest, then start to say, am I manifesting a life that's going to lead to fulfillment and balance, not just in work? Because I'm the kind of person where like my work, my life, my mission is my identity. And I have to be like, right, I have a husband, I have a son, I have a physical body. I have to take care of all of these things, even though so much of my joy, personal joy, comes from serving others. So that's the second suggestion. Third, anytime we want to change, we have to immediately take away guilt, shame, and blame. So if you want to change, the 3 ways your mind is going to stop you from changing is by guilting yourself, shaming yourself, or blaming someone else. Next, you need to just have awareness of how what your manifesting skills are. Because anytime, and I'm sure you've seen this in retail so many times, when you're evaluating something you've done, you could always say, the idea didn't come from the right place. We didn't think this through enough. We didn't create a solid enough plan, or we didn't act in a way that was in alignment with our values, or that was smart. We didn't use our resource, whatever it was. We can do it in one of these 4 categories. So just
100%.
100%. Planting the seed of awareness in your mind to start taking stock of where do I not thrive in one of these 4 categories.
Oh,
and
I
then,
like that.
And then either working with someone who that is their strength, or digging in deep to your own personal development and figuring out why. And of course, like, feel free to send me or April an email. You know, we can help you try and figure out what that is, if that's something that interests you. And then I'll give, I can give everyone a practical tip if you want.
Yeah.
Or should I say that?
No, I love this, because the thing is, we work with a lot of people on development plans, right? And one of the biggest gaps that I saw when I was leading was leaders creating development plans for other leaders to be their best, and not really knowing how to do that. Because, you know, in retail, I wouldn't say we're really strong in written skills. If you're in operations and field, you're really strong with people skills and getting things done, but you're not really strong at like taking your own time, reflecting, sitting back, and then writing a plan down. That's something I had to learn as I grew in my leadership journey, how to write a strategic plan, how to write development plans, so I could scale and grow bigger teams and have success. So I think this is really awesome, because I'm just thinking, I'm taking my notes on, like, I want to write myself a personal development plan with the 4 elements. Like, where am I, as opposed to just competencies, because Retail U is all about competencies, but the elements to me is such a simple, it's awesome. So yeah, give us a practical tip. I love it.
Like, let's say, so manifesting by definition is creating something from nothing. So if you're creating a Retail U course, and you just over and over see, like, this is where I'm blocked. It's so cool, because we can go deeper, maybe in a different call, and talk about, like, why always do I bail at the plan? You can make all the lists, you can visualize it in your mind, but if you go straight from visualization and the lists to action, it's not going to have that solid foundation to A, reflect your values, and B, be long lasting. So something that really can be a helpful tip to visually see where you're at is on a blank wall, maybe on a corkboard, or on a wall you have, take Post-it notes and divide the wall into 4 sections: ideas, thoughts, plans, and actions, and break it up into different categories. You know, my work life, you know, my side hustle, my family, my health, and see what stages you're in. Do you have majority? Are you in thought? You know, and so by writing all of these things out, what stage you're at, you start to get a picture of where you're not, what you're missing. And it's kind of cool to do the practice of, when you have an idea, move that Post-it note down into the thought when you're there, move it down into plan, move it down into action. And that's some NLP stuff too. Like, when you're seeing it and you're seeing it move, it's so reaffirming, and you get more, you're building different patterns in your brain to think that way on a regular basis.
Oh, that's so cool, because I love Post-it notes. I use them all the time when I'm doing course building and like structure or things like that. And I did an activity I talk about in the book, where I brought a whole load of managers in when I was at David's Tea to the office, and we did this whole exercise. And we were moving Post-it notes around, because it's, again, that visual piece, right, that does something to your brain. We were like changing colors of Post-its when we were like fixing something. We were like taking it off and placing it over here. So I like that. You're going to see a picture on my social media of my wall with this, because I think I'm going to take the time to do this week. So where do you see most people get tripped up and blocked, or is it just all over the place with different people? Or is there you talked about the things that trick our brain, but like, what stops us from achieving our greatness or our best? I think I'm taking a group of leaders right now through the first Retail U coaching certification program, where I'm teaching, this book. And it's about being your best so that you can inspire others to be their best, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that comes from role modeling, knowing how to leading by example, creating a sense of belonging for people, not judging others, and all that good stuff. That's all in this leadership model. But yeah, like is there a common theme where people mostly get tripped up, or is it just all over the map?
Well, maybe I should create some stuff for your coaching course, and we could personally work with everyone and determine their elements. But from the hundreds of people I've worked with one-on-one to do this, I would say plan and action. And I think because if I were to go deeper and I break down these 4 categories, there's so much more detail in them. And between plan and action, these are our core beliefs. So for any of the parents out there who have had to watch the movie Inside Out 400 times, that movie with core beliefs, that these memories when you were a little kid get stored deep in your mind. And despite all the white knuckling it to think positive, if you don't, working with these core beliefs and emotional attachments, they stop people from that moving from creating effective plans and actions. So I think people are pretty good at ideas for the most part, and people are in their heads a lot. So people are okay with thinking, but it's plan and action that often trips people up the most. And it's, when I think about it in terms of this, it's so interesting because, and manifesting fascinates me, and I love manifesting. But I'm the kind of person, I'm a idea, thought, action person. I'm the person that's like, oh, I want to buy a fish today. So I go to the fish store and I buy a fish. And then my best friend says, well, did you think about what kind of bowl it needs, or what kind of food it wants, or like what temperature it likes? And I'm like, no, I wanted a fish. I got a fish. Like, isn't that how you do it? But no, it's not. The fish is very unhappy, and the fish eventually died. So like, poor little fishy. But when you think about, like, I want to create, like April's got, like, I want to create this course to influence 1 million leaders, to inspire them, to help them feel like their cup is full, to learn how to fill their people's cups, and so that everyone is served, the customer has the best experience possible. That's the idea. And it's so interesting because is there any difference between the idea and the actual act of creating this course? It's just levels of density. Isn't that so interesting?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, 100%. You're making me think about I am in ideas. I think I live in ideas a lot too. I think I drive Jane a little bit balmy sometimes because I've got like, oh, this idea and that idea, and we haven't followed through on this idea yet. And I'm like, literally, tell me to stop. And I had to, when I was working with my team, when I had a bigger team, I actually said to them, I know that I can persuade people of things. I've got good influencing skills because people like me, right? And I know that my voice is pretty loud. And so I had to learn to realize that, number one, and then hire people around me that could be more of the planners, because I wouldn't say that I'm very strategic. I talk about that in the book. And then I had to have the humility to say to my team, listen, stop me because I'm going to come up with 10 different ideas, but stop me if you're like, nah, that doesn't, I'm not sure about that. So, but sometimes it's hard for people, especially when you're a leader and you're in charge. You think that you need to know the answers, or not. It's not even that you think you need to know the answers. I think for me, it was more about like, I just had people I could get people to do anything and buy into anything. And they would go along with it. And so I had a blind spot because I didn't realize they were just going along with it because I was so good at that. So I had to really look at that planning piece, like you said, and just create a space for my team to really feel like they could say, hey, hold on, slow down a minute. We're a bit confused right now, because a lot of employees that work for leaders don't want to say something to that leader because that leader holds their job, in the palm of their hands kind of thing a lot of the time. So I think that I can identify with that because I live in the ideas stage, and I really have to slow down. That's why at the beginning of this year, me and Jane went through OKRs as a practice and really looked strategically And then we had our advisory board help us with it and kind of get practical on it and like really streamline it. And every Monday we come back to that document and we say, okay, where are we? We have a reflection, like what did we create? What have we manifested? Yeah, so I think what you're saying is, I might be rambling a bit now, but I'm really identifying with what you're saying because, yeah, leaders sometimes their team don't tell them if you're a great leader and people love working for you. I don't know if any of you can identify with this, but people don't tell you the truth sometimes. They just go along with you. So this, for me, is if you're the leader, you have to be so responsible. Be responsible, and that is the second step of in the fact that you are manifesting for yourself and others and can take people down a path and not be able to get the result that you want.
And wouldn't it be cool if you had your board up? Because employees don't want to, quote unquote, hurt your feelings, right?
Right.
Because there's two sides of us. There's the doing and the being. And they don't want to say something because they don't want to upset you. And then they're afraid of potential future ramifications. But if you had all this on the board, your staff could be like, hey, like April, look at how many ideas we have right now. Is it the best use of our time to maybe add another idea? And so it's a way that our team can help us to, keep us focused on the doing and not worry about hurting our feelings because we're just focusing on doing. And wouldn't it be so cool if, in addition to all the other great practices people use in hiring, was to think about, where are my fire people? Where are my air people? Where are my water people? Where are my earth people? Who's the ideas? Who's the air? Like, who's the thought, plan, action, and have them work together.
Oh yeah, that's so cool.
Because even if you think about the molecules of fire, they move like this. And I loved how you said, I need to slow down. That's literally the act of creation. It's taking all these ideas and bringing them right down into the very minute movements of a rock, of earth. That's manifesting. And I know we only have a few more minutes. I want to
keep going.
see to everyone out there that manifesting and magnetizing are two totally different energy systems. And if you want to utilize these in business, it'll help you. So manifesting is creating something from nothing, like a new course or, guidelines, business plans, etc. But magnetizing is drawing to you things that already exist. So I've talked to you, April, about this before, right? Like, you are working so hard at this creation of these awesome courses, but you don't need to be in that energy all the time. Now you need to find all those heart-based leaders that want to make a difference, and you need to draw them into you. And so it's also about learning when to magnetize, like when you've okay, these are our guidelines for the employees we need. Great, that's manifesting. But to draw those people is the magnetic body. So it's pretty cool. I could talk about
I know, I'm like, whoa, I'm like, that could be a whole nother call. We got to bring you back on to talk about that one. So I'm just reading some of the comments. So Darlene said, I had a fabulous mentor that said, you don't need to know all the right answers, just the right questions. Yeah, that's really true. I talk about that a lot. We're going through that in the, excuse me, I'm going to get some water, in the coaching certification, because you only get answers to the questions you ask. And Sylvia is saying the trick is to understand what are the blockages in the 4 elements. Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I think, Sarah, we might end up bringing you into our coaching certification because it was the meditation challenge is so good. So I think this is so important as we go forwards into 2021 and what we want to create for our teams, our businesses, for our customers, and change the world in retail. I think she's like, yeah, bring Sarah back. Yeah, we'll bring you back. We always, whenever you come on our lives or you do anything with the Retail U members, they're always like, yeah, bring her back, because it's such an insightful conversation. Because I think what I love about you is you have a spiritual wellness program and organization, but you demystify it and make it practical for people. And, retail people are all about doing an action and making a difference for people. So I just think the connection is so great. And we're so fortunate to have you as part of our Retail U community. And Catherine's like, yes, bring Sarah back. See, you got a fan club at Retail U. So we're hitting, this conversation was great. I mean, I feel like I was talking to you for 5 minutes. We're hitting 30 minutes. So we normally wrap up about now. If you want to find Sarah, you can find her on LinkedIn, but we'll post a link to her underneath this chat. Her name's tagged in this post as well. And she, she's the teacher of the wellness course, which is a meditation course, which teaches the Max meditation on Retail You, which is an amazing course. And so, yeah, we're just really fortunate to be able to get to work with you and change leaders' lives and help them become better leaders so that they can be in service to their teams and really make a difference in the world. So thank you so much. I love talking to you. Is there anything that, anything that popped to mind, your last words of advice or wisdom that you want to share with our audience today?
Yes. The thing that's really coming into my mind is I just want to honor all of the people watching this call. It's so easy when you're carrying a heavy load to only look forward and just like with your heavy backpack on, like carry your team forward. But I just want to honor and acknowledge every one of you for all the great things that you are doing, and to not forget how extremely important you are in so many people's lives. And just like when you're a parent.
Oh, we lost her. Yeah, we lost you, Sarah. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up. We lost you. We lost your last words of wisdom. Yeah, bye.
I saw that. I'm so sorry, everybody. That like don't forget, like that. Just like when you're a parent and you're having a bad day and you snap and you don't mean to. In business, like filling your own cup is the most important thing that you can do for yourself. I know that everyone on this call is service oriented and wants to serve, but the first person you have to serve is yourself. And then the overflow of your cup goes to everyone else. So those are my last words of wisdom for everybody.
Brilliant. Well, thank you. And if you find this live in your feed, please share it. Share it. People are always messaging me, where can I see it? Where can I see it? The more of you that share it with your audience, the more people we get to serve and help and really empower as much as we can. So yeah, Dean's just like, well done, Sarah and April, an impactful topic. Yeah, it can definitely impact us personally and professional. So yeah, if you see this in your feed, share it with as many people as you can, and we'll be back next Wednesday with another retail leader featured on The Positive Effect. So thanks, everybody. Bye. Bye for now.
Bye.